Neighbors is that I don't have to adjust the microphone, which has literally never happened to me, so I'm very excited about that. I am so honored to introduce one of our 2019 homecoming candidates, Daniel Betts. Dan is the youngest son of Paul and Mary Betts. He has two older sisters, Kenzie and Andrea. Dan is active in the National Honor Society, basketball, band, and he is currently serving as our Fairmont FFA chapter president. Next year, Dan will be attending Creighton University in Omaha, where he plans to pursue a business major. Dan tells me that I met him in 7th grade, and the fact that he had to tell me that means it's probably better for me to say that I first got to know him in 9th grade. In that time, I think I can count on one hand the number of times that I've heard Dan referred to by his first name only. He's one of those students who's so infamous that it takes both of his names to properly refer to him. It has been a joy to be able to watch Dan learn and grow over the past 4 years in FFA and without, but I often find myself asking, as I watch him, who does that? And the answer is always, Dan Betts does that. Let me give you some examples. Dan's favorite pizza toppings are peanut butter and jalapenos together. Who does that? Dan Betts does that. Ask him about it sometime. It's super weird and not as good as he says it is. When asked where he's from, as you saw on Friday, Dan is more likely to give the name of his township than his city. Who does that? Dan Betts does that. Dan, I hate to break it to you, but the people in Rutland Township don't know where Rutland is. Your ultimate goal of getting Rutland to secede from Martin County and establish itself as an independent nation, it has a long way to go. You're better off sticking with the Sandwich Islands. Last spring, when our FFA chapter was cleaning up road ditches for Adopt a Highway, Dan found a slip of paper with a phone number on it. So he put down his trash bags and called it. Who does that? Dan Betts does that. He's always looking for ways to make others laugh by being silly or with a smart comment. If you get a chance, ask him about the email he recently sent to a very persistent college recruiter. Dan's favorite football team is the Cleveland Browns. Since 1999, the Browns' record is 95 wins, 224 losses, and a tie. It's the tie that really gets you. Now, I might not know a lot about sports in general, but that seems bad to me. The Browns have the longest active playoff drought in the NFL, 16 seasons without a playoff appearance. When I asked him last year about why he cheers for the Browns, Dan just shrugged and said, I like an underdog. Who does that? Dan Betts does that. You can often find Dan cheering for underdogs all over Fairmont. He is proud to be a self-appointed co-leader of the Cardinal student section. And if you ever find yourself at a sporting event asking, who is that kid with the super loud, weird yell, it's probably Dan Betts. He cheers for the underdog in smaller, quieter ways too. You might have noticed that Dan is friends with everyone. He finds ways to reach out to other students, no matter their background, and he makes them a part of his circle. And once they're in his circle, he never stops cheering for them, encouraging them, and pushing them to be their best. Finally, Dan is the man behind the brand, Betts Believe. Around his sophomore year, he thought it would be cool to create his own brand, so he did. He thought it would be cool to create a t-shirt, so he did. He thought maybe he would get some other students to buy a shirt with his name on it, and they did. Who does that? Dan Betts does that. Dan is a brand that others buy into. He is kind and genuine and friendly and self-assured. Dan sees the best in others, and he brings a smile with him wherever he goes. Dan's good nature and his passion for seeking success is, according to his sister Kenzie, contagious. He encourages his friends and his classmates to be better by setting a good example, and he is a student leader that represents the best of Cardinal pride. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Dan Betts.